Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. Here's a recap of our top stories from the week. Former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden are calling for unity following an attempted assassination on Saturday. The assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump took place during a political rally in Butler County, Pennsylvania. Officials say the former president was hit in the ear by a bullet, but was otherwise unharmed. However, Pennsylvania State Police report that Pennsylvania resident Corey Comparator was fatally shot during the rally and that 2 others were injured. In response, Governor Josh Shapiro ordered that all flags be flown at half-staff in the Commonwealth in honor of Comparator, who is a firefighter and died protecting his family from the bullets. Investigators have identified the shooter as 20-year-old Thomas Crooks from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, who was shooting an AR-15 from the roof of a nearby building. Following the assassination attempt, President Joe Biden addressed the nation and called for a cooling of political tensions and condemned the violence at the rally. Former President Donald Trump told reporters that the assassination attempt was a surreal experience and that the Secret Service did a fantastic job in responding to the threat. Almost 2 weeks following the June 30th deadline, the Pennsylvania state budget for 2024 to 2025 was officially signed into law on Thursday, July 11th. Governor Josh Shapiro said the bipartisan budget includes historic investments in education, economic development, law enforcement, affordable housing, healthcare, public transit, and infrastructure. The $46 billion budget will not include any increases to sales tax or the income tax rate, but will draw from a portion of the state's $14 billion in surplus. The budget was first proposed by the governor in February and was voted on by the House of Representatives and the Senate on Thursday. In a press release, Shapiro said the budget is a result of hard work and compromise on both sides and demonstrates his commitment to delivering freedom and opportunity for all Pennsylvanians.
A failing lithium-ion battery was determined to be the cause of a large scrap metal fire in Hazel Township on Sunday. According to officials, the fire broke out at the Eastern Metal Recycling Center around 8 p.m. Upon arriving at the scene, crews say a pile of scrap metal and appliances measuring around 100 feet square and 20 feet tall was sending up plumes of smoke. Officials say no hydrants were nearby at the scene, so over a dozen tanker trucks from Luzerne, Schuylkill, and Carbon counties worked to transport water to the fire. In total, crews estimate that around 100 first responders assisted at the scene. Emergency crews responded to a tractor-trailer crash with injury early Tuesday morning. Officials say the crash took place on Interstate 80 eastbound around mile marker 268.8. Crews say the incident occurred when a truck hauling cars ran into a trailer that had disconnected from another truck. Interstate 80 eastbound was closed as crews responded to the scene, but has since reopened. A blighted and decaying building in Foster Township has been demolished with the help of some state funding. Pennsylvania State Representative Mike Cabell and Senator David Argel were at the scene on Tuesday and spoke with us about the importance of the project.
I think it's important to breathe new life into an old town. Foster Township is a small township. They could never afford to do this without the state grant.
The demolition was funded by a $200,000 local share account grant. State Representative Mike Cabell also gave us some insight into the process for bringing the funding back to the local community.
So LSA dollars, they're competitive, and we have a lot of communities coming out trying to get them for their communities, and we take it as, we look at the entire project as a whole, and this project was obvious. You know, if we were able to invest a relatively small amount of money, $210,000, it really brings in the potential of other businesses and really kind of affects the entire community in a positive way. So we're really happy we were able to help them out here.
Blighted buildings can lower property values, strain the real estate market, and affect schools and local crime rates. In short, Cabell said the demolition from the structure will benefit the community for years to come.
What this allowed for is really anybody to come in, opens a free market to come in and purchase the property and utilize it in a way that will best benefit, hopefully, the economy around here. So hopefully, I mean, there's rumors of some really cool ideas that might happen here. I'm not sure if they're public or not, but definitely some cool stuff that could potentially happen. At the very least, you remove some blight, which definitely brings up the value of the area just in general.
The building was previously an auto service station and a residential home before being deemed a safety hazard and uninhabitable.
Coming up on WYLN News, Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Whitehaven, Part 4. Plus, we check in with State Representative Dane Watrow on Watrow's weekly update. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
WYLN News is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton. Your health deserves a partner.
My name is Adi and Mama will be Cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN on WYLN.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@WYLNTV.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network.
As World War I wound down to its conclusion in late 1918, Whitehaven and the rest of the United States welcomed a return to normal from a world ravaged by conflict. Residents of the town would get to witness one of their own assume a place in the highest reaches of government at this time. Alexander Mitchell Palmer had been born near Whitehaven in 1872. He had begun his career as a lawyer in Stroudsburg in 1893 in John Storm's law firm. Interested in politics, he was first elected to Congress in 1909, where he would serve 3 terms and served in such positions as vice chairman of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee and as a strong member of the House Ways and Means Committee. During his 3rd term, he became chairman of the Democratic House Caucus, in which position he championed tariff reductions. Palmer left Congress in 1915, but by October 1917 was appointed by Woodrow Wilson to head the Office of Alien Property Custodian, in which he was authorized to seize property in the U.S. belonging to the Central Powers. At the beginning of 1919, he was elevated to Attorney General and would serve in this position for 2 years. This was the era of the Red Scare, triggered by the Bolshevik takeover of Russia, and in which Americans saw perceived signs of communism behind the numerous strikes, race riots, and bombings that broke out across the country following the war. Palmer himself was not immune from the mayhem, as his house received a pair of mail bombs in early 1919, believed to have been sent by disciples of Italian anarchist Luigi Galliani, that he and his family narrowly escaped. Determined to strike back, Palmer in November 1919 authorized federal roundups of suspected anarchists and communist sympathizers. What became known as the Palmer raids remain controversial today, with many of the thousands that were arrested being detained without search warrants and held in overcrowded prisons. Labor unions were also targeted heavily during the raids, with Palmer invoking the Wartime Lever Act to try and stamp out a proposed coal miner strike that he thought had communist backing. While the raids had firm public support from the at first, eventually a backlash grew, particularly after a mass uprising that Palmer had predicted on May Day 1920 failed to materialize. By then, Assistant Secretary of Labor Louis Freeland Post, who disapproved of the raids, had canceled more than 2,000 arrest warrants as being illegal, and the American Civil Liberties Union had been founded by concerned citizens to protect Americans' rights as a direct result of the raids. The backlash ultimately proved an albatross for Palmer when he chose to run for president later in 1920, as he finished well behind Ohio Governor James Cox in the final Democratic primary. After leaving office at the end of the Wilson administration, Palmer returned to private law practice. He died in 1936 and today rests in Stroudsburg's Laurelwood Cemetery. Several decades later, another former Whitehaven resident made his mark in government at both the federal and state levels, although not in Pennsylvania. John Dempsey was born in Whitehaven in 1879. Originally having trained as a telegraph operator, he would climb the employment ladder to become vice president of the Brooklyn Rapid Transit Company. Moving to Oklahoma in 1919 to enter the oil business, Dempsey became vice president of the Continental Oil and Asphalt Company. Another move to New Mexico soon followed, and with it, a stint in charge of the United States Asphalt Company, as well as a term as president of the University of New Mexico's Board of Regents. Dempsey entered politics in 1933, serving as New Mexico's state director of the Federal Housing Administration and National Emergency Council. He was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1935 and served through 1941, when he relinquished his seat to unsuccessfully run for the Senate. Dempsey did not stay out of work for long, as he was named Undersecretary of the Interior in 1941. He served in this post for a year before resigning to run for New Mexico's governorship. He would subsequently defeat Republican candidate Joseph Terreros to become New Mexico's 13th governor. Dempsey served in this post through 1947 and was in office when the first atomic bomb was tested in the desert near Alamogordo on July 16, 1945. Dempsey returned to the House of Representatives in 1951 and remained there until his death in 1958. Back in Whitehaven, life continued. By the 1960s, Interstate 80 was built just south of the borough. The route would eventually stretch across the nation from New York to San Francisco, thus opening Whitehaven to the entire country. It was underneath the Interstate's bridge over the Lehigh River that a dismembered body was found in several suitcases on December 20th, 1976, prompting an investigation that drew national headlines due to the brutality of the murder. At first, investigators were unable to identify the victim, who had been pregnant at the time of her death, and the case remains unsolved for decades thereafter. Finally, in 2021, she was identified as Evelyn Colon of Jersey City, New Jersey, and Luis Sierra, who was identified as the father of her unborn child, was charged with her murder. The Lehigh River would bring more positive attention to Whitehaven in the following years. All had been mostly quiet in the Lehigh Gorge south of town ever since the Central Railroad of New Jersey had abandoned its rail line through the gorge in 1972. The trees had largely grown back from the gorge from the days of heavy timber industry in the area, and the state of Pennsylvania realized it would be the perfect site for a new state park. They bought the land from the railroad, and what became known as Lehigh Gorge State Park opened in 1980. Today the park offers guests, many of whom can enter it directly from Whitehaven, ample opportunity for hiking, rafting, and fishing, in what is now the same natural wonderland it was when Whitehaven's first settlers arrived in the region.
welcome back to Feel Good Friday. I'm joined by Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Hey Ryan, thank you again for coming to my office.
I appreciate you having me, and we're going to talk about something you're a big proponent of, positive thinking, because it's always great to think positive thoughts in your
Ryan,
day.
if you were in my shoes, a mother came in yesterday with her 40-year-old daughter. Her daughter's depressed, suicidal, going to therapy, and I said to her, positive thinking is nothing you just all of a sudden adopt. Research says we get 80 negative thoughts per day. Most of us dwell on those negative thoughts, like my neighbor just had loud music on, or this guy just pulled in front of me. It takes like an athlete to train the mind to get those negative thoughts, Ryan, out of the mind. Replace them with positive. Thank you, God, I'm alive. Thank you, I can work to pay my bills. Thank you that I can see, that I can walk. So when you train, you become like a soldier. So when the negativities bombard people, right, I don't get depressed. I don't get suicidal. If my kids break my heart, the Lord is with me. I have to be strong and courageous to fight those battles. So it takes years to build a positive attitude, but being negative gets you nowhere. So change your mind little by little by being thankful. Being thankful and gradually transform your mind. Positive thoughts will transform your life.
And it's never too late to start.
Never too late.
I'd like to thank Dr. John for joining us and giving us some valuable advice on this Feel Good Friday, and we'll see you next time.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Cheers Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in at 610 North Broad Street in West Hazelton, 570-454-7229. Cheers is proud to be celebrating 70 years in business. Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazelton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books, an author-friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish your story. Call us today to get a free author packet to help get you started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process with professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the industry.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, a memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today.
Call right now for your free writer's guide.
1-800-215-3680.
Hey guys, this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, we're doing a laser presentation with these two beautiful people because there's going to be a series up at the Wellness Center. July 10th is a Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So stay tuned for the show and then come to the Wellness Center presentation.
Hello, welcome to Watro's Weekly Update. I'm here with my good friend, State Representative Dane Watro. How are you today, Dane?
I'm doing very good once again, thank you. And thank you to WYLN for having me on for this weekly update. I appreciate you all so very much.
Well, it's a big pleasure, I gotta say. Now, let's see, with how much of a hassle summer has been so far regarding the heat, but I'd say that should be at least of concern. But when it comes to working, we do it for money, and that makes up something regarding a budget, which is a thing required for a lot of almost everything, because in order to do something big, there requires a budget for that, and sometimes it's too big, sometimes it's too low. Is there something regarding a budget that you have to bring up?
Yeah, so just recently, just a few short days ago, last week, we passed the state budget. Now, with that being said, I always talk about compromise and how you got to give a little bit to get a little bit, no matter if it's doing this, passing the state budget, or if it's in a relationship. You always gotta compromise. However, this year budget, I'm not too excited about, because it's not putting money back in the taxpayers' pockets, back into our citizens' pocket. You're out at the grocery store, and it hurts me here in my heart to see people having to put food back, not getting the essential things that they really need to live, and picking and choosing with senior citizens medication over food. It's disheartening. We live in America. It should not be like that. This budget that was passed really takes down our rainy day fund money, and I feel in my heart that if we're going to tap into that rainy day fund, we need to put that money back into your pocket, back into people's pocket. That's where it belongs, not spend. We just can't afford to spend. We're at a crucial point in this world where we can't afford things. Interest rates are up. Food prices are still at a historic high. We can't afford it. And unfortunately, I enjoy working and reaching across the aisle, working with my colleagues. However, this is one budget I just simply could not get behind because it's bringing our rainy day fund down, and it's not putting money back in people's pockets, and that's what we need right now. So moving forward, the budget is complete, and we're moving on to getting the people's work done in other areas. So with that being said, the governor did have an $8.1 billion rainy day fund. That is down over $1 billion now in a few short year and a half that he's been in office, and we keep tracking like that. I'm going to be very concerned to where it's going to lead us. We got to be fiscally responsible. I know that's a trigger word for people, but it's very true when we talk about this. If that $1 billion was going back in my constituents' pockets, I would have been the first guy to be voting yes on this budget, but it's not, unfortunately. And hopefully next year that's going to happen. We had proposals out there for personal income tax reductions, a gross utility tax elimination. That's putting money back in people's pockets. Let's face it, our utility costs, whether it's electric or whatever the case may be, it's going up, and people's paychecks aren't going up anymore, and that is what I'm hearing, and I feel on a state level we could help with that. So moving forward, I'm hoping that maybe next year's budget could be something more rewarding for our citizens of the Commonwealth. On a side note, like I said, there's always room for compromise. I'm very excited to hear that there's more money going into education. Our good senator worked very hard on that piece to get that, and I'm excited that we have so much more money, $1.3 billion going from pre-K to 12. So that's a lot of money going into public education, and maybe that will help our local school districts with the things that they need to be successful to help our students out there. So that is definitely one great thing that I seen in that multi-billion-dollar budget happen. So with that being said, I definitely want to congratulate our good senator, Senator Argel, for his efforts in championing that piece through in our school code and our budget this year.
Yep, I definitely agree that the education system does need, always needs more. And yes, there is no doubt that there is always going to be concern with topics like these. And for the people, you're right, they can never have enough, honestly. Right. It's especially for crucial moments like food or, bills.
Yeah, everybody's struggling this day and age, and we'll see what happens. We had some more exciting things happen this weekend with one of your own.
Yes, regarding a certain C word, let's see, CIT. citation.
Yeah, we had a great citation presentation this weekend for WYLN. Yours truly, Mr. Burns. Great guy, decades of service to our youth sports, to the Little League, and it was an honor to recognize him from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, from the House of Representatives. We also presented a senatorial proclamation to him from Senator Argyle. For Mr. Burns, he put a lot of time, energy, effort into making sure our children have the best experience in the Little League.
Honorable stuff.
Honorable, yeah, that's the best word to use, honorable. So many times people are critical of maybe people in those positions, you could do this better, you could do that better, but I'll tell you what, for those multiple decades that Mr. Burns been involved with the Little League Association, he spent time away from his family, his loved ones, just to go ahead and make memorable lives for the youth. So yeah, congratulations to Mr. Burns.
It's quite a sacrifice, I gotta say.
On his retirement from the Little League there. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, with news regarding politics and all of that, some good, some bad, but honestly, what is life without any flaws?
That's right. Yeah, and like I said, maybe next year will lead to some more compromise. But I truly believe everybody has good intentions in their heart, and now it's just go ahead and make sure that we're serving our constituents to the best of our ability and doing what we could do.
Yeah, make the most of it. That's honestly the main thing. Yeah. Well, I just hope the budget gets better soon. Honestly, we cannot have enough nowadays with the economy and all that. But with things hopefully getting better, let's see. I guess that'll do for Watchers Weekly Update. We'll see you next time.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the WYLN News Midday Update. When it's serious, there's only one health network with seriously innovative health institutes. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your health deserves a partner. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food.